Welcome to another episode of The Seven. I am Lucy Baldwin, and today I want to talk about a pattern that I see so much, and maybe you can relate to this. We could call it overthinking, we could call it um, mental spirals, um, we can call it overactive imagination. This is for you if you are somebody who gets lost in the mental spiral going around and around. And this is a Mercury imbalance. So I'm talking about a Mercury imbalance. Smart people spiral the hardest, you guys, and what to do about it. Okay. If you are getting lost in your mind and you're just going around and around and you struggle to make decisions, to tap into your truth, to find your intuition, you're just analysis paralysis. That's the word. That's what I'm going to name this episode. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. Overthinking. Okay. Analysis paralysis. This is a Mercury imbalance. Okay. Mercury loves to think and play. Mercury loves to be in that, like, going around and around and what is truth and this intelligent. When we're smart, we can see like all the different angles and analyses and explanations and sides and possibilities and potentials and factors that are coming in and ways that all the different factors relate to each other and how they created the situation and how it could be this way and it could be that way and maybe it means this and maybe it means that and maybe it's everything and it's all connected. And am I sounding familiar? Okay. I love you. I love you in this so, so much. And my job over the last several years, I have made a living helping people like you if this is you. Okay. And so this is an overactive Mercury. And I'm going to talk about some ways that you can balance that. This overthinking, by the way, I'm going to name it. I'm going to call it out. I'm sorry if this hurts, but it's avoidance. It's avoidance. And most of you know it. The people, when I work with you, you know it. You can feel it. You're like, I'm up here too much and I'm avoiding feeling what's inside, right? That's what's happening. And it's also a habit. It's a pattern. It's fun. It's fun to analyze. It's fun to solve the puzzle. It's fun to see all the pieces, right? You're brilliant. You are brilliant and you want to study and understand and we have so much fun in this mental space and there's nothing wrong with that, you know? I do not want you to feel ashamed of that. And this analysis, this constant analysis is avoidance. And it's a form of self protection, right? You're trying to protect yourself from pain. And Mercury's gift here is this like wit and agility and like it's a very expansive because there's a lot. But it's also weirdly limiting because it just goes around and around and it loops back on itself and it's stuck energy. There's a stuck energy there. And we need to actually move the thing underneath it. The thing that's down in the body needs to be moved, needs to be discharged. I like to think of it in terms of like charge, and we discharge it by just feeling it, just claiming it, owning it, looking at it. Really, though, what it is, it's simple attention. It's attention, putting our attention on the body. Attention is like in the world, we live in such a weird world. We have the attention economy. Everything is vying for our attention. Like literally companies just make money off of our attention. If something is free, then the thing they're extracting from you is your attention, right? That's how social media works. It's all about keeping your attention and then people pay to be put in front of you. That's the whole economy of that. And so your attention is extremely valuable. And if you're going around and around in circles, you need to like move the arrow of your attention. You have to get it off the wheel, right? You have to get it off the spinning wheel of thoughts. And so we do that by balancing Mercury. And there's other planets. We call in other planets, and I'll give you some options for that as we get further along here. Because it's very fragmented. It's like there's a little snippet over here and there's a little snippet over here, and we can see how it's all connected. And there's so many different ways to explain it and say it. And especially like when we feel wronged or we feel like there's certain things that we just want to like analyze and analyze and analyze and pick at and pick at and pick at and process and process and process and relive and tell over and over and over again. And there's so many angles, right? And there's so many ways to tell it. And every time we tell it, there's like a new little insight. And honestly, those little insights, that's the thing that we crave. That's the little dopamine hit of like, ooh, and then I said it like this way. And so this is where the habit comes in. The thing that we're getting from this habit is these little like insights and these dopamine drops of like insight and having like said it really clearly, having like really wrapped it into a nice framing. But then we don't just leave it there. No, we keep going. We go for another framing and another framing, and because there's infinite angles, there's infinite ways of expressing. So we can get fragmented, we can loop, we can argue with ourselves and can get into the nuance of it, and we can get overstimulated just even in our own mind. And also sometimes these thoughts will bring up a lot of sensation, but we're trying to avoid the sensation. So we're just like really going through the thoughts. And sometimes we mistake this for clarity. We mistake it for clarity because there's a lot going on up there and we're so smart. And there is clarity to us. And also, there's a real lack of poignancy. If we have a really hard time nailing down, like, this is the thing, you know, because then suddenly maybe we could say maybe we'll even do that. I do this. Okay, I'm just going to be honest. It's like, well, it's really just this, but then I have to elaborate on that, and then I just keep going and going and going and going, right? And so it's like that weight when there's so much, it all becomes noise. Right. And it stops to lose its meaning. So we actually could just get lost in and lose the real issue. What's the real weighty thing in here? Because we're creating this whole painting. It's like a hall of mirrors. And so I love this because they have these like mirror museums where there's just like mirrors everywhere. And that's literally what's going on in your mind. And so how do you find your way out because you're just surrounded in mirrors, and everywhere you look it's just showing you a different reflection and a different angle, and from that angle you can see that angle over there and it reflects that angle, and it's all bouncing around, right? And what do you do? Well, if you're in a hall of mirrors, you have to go to the ground. Where's the ground? Where's your body? That's what's true. That's what's real. That's where the weight is. So we balance that Mercury. We can balance it honestly with almost any other planet, if I'm being honest. When you're in this, I would say, like, what's the planet? I'm going to give you some options. So I'm a big Saturn person. And so I would say Saturn. Saturn is really like an opposite to Mercury in a lot of ways, right? It's like mind matter. That's kind of the reflection here. So, an opposite for Mercury here would be Saturn, calling in Saturn. Saturn, help me see like the lesson, the truth, the like weight, density. Where's like the dense nugget that is going to like drift to the bottom, right? It's like you have all of this like scattery, just like chaos. And there's something there that is going to distill into something dense and solid and just land on the ground that can actually sinks to the ground. The thing that sinks and falls to the ground and lands in your body. And it's sensation. It shows up as sensation. Always sensation. I'm always talking about sensation. What do you feel? What do you feel in your body? Is it vibrating? Is it tingly? Is it sharp? Is it warm? Is it dull? Is it achy? Is it throbbing? Where is it? What do you feel? What are you actually feeling? That's the thing that we're always avoiding. We're always avoiding that when we're in this hall of mirrors. We're avoiding feeling, what's in the body, what's down here. And we can also bring ourselves down through a simple this is one of my favorite things that I love to do is to imagine that there's like a light and it's like the light of my consciousness, right? It's the light of my focus, my attention, because it's all about attention. Where are you putting, what are you paying attention to right now? Because you can be doing like four things at once, but what is actually the thing that you're focused on in any given moment? And so your mind can keep going, but like if you're putting your attention, I like to imagine it's a light and maybe it's up here somewhere, maybe it's in your head, wherever you imagine your mind to be. I really imagine my mind to be like above my shoulders. I imagine this light just like moving down and I'm just following it down. I'm just keeping my focus on the light. I'm watching the light just fall down and sink into my body. I just literally imagine it sinking into the base of my spine. That's where I put it. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm in my body. My focus has moved from out here to in here. And even as I'm saying this, I'm sinking into my body. Okay. And so that's what we're going for. That's how we slow it down. That's how we work with this Mercury imbalance. What can this give us? Well, the most important thing that this can give us is clarity, right? Clarity. Sanity, right? Sanity, because we go a little crazy, don't we? We get really swept up and then it's hard to think about anything else. It's hard to focus on anything else. It's hard to like focus on the things that we want to be focusing on, doing the things that we want to be doing, creating, connecting with people, um, taking care of ourselves, stewarding our families, taking care of our community, connecting with our communities, being in our homes, whatever it is that you want to do. So, bringing it down. I love to ask Saturn. Another really great balance for Mercury is the moon in this situation because the moon gets us into our body again. The moon is also very physically oriented archetype. It's in the body, it's in the feminine, it's the oceans, the waves of our emotion, our intuition. So, feeling you can ask the moon. You can also just do a little ritual with one of these planets. And then another really great planet, another great balance for Mercury. So, I was going to say Jupiter. Jupiter is a really great balance because Mercury is an opposite to Jupiter in a lot of ways. Mercury is like newness and speed and travel. It's like nomadic. Whereas Jupiter is like landed, grounded, stabilized, solid, structured, efficient, deep. So Jupiter can be a really great counterbalance for this Mercury. Venus is also, though, embodied. Venus is the feminine. There's a real earthiness to Venus. You can literally just put your hands in the earth. And then, though, because you can do anything and just keep spinning around in the hall of mirrors. So putting your hands in the earth and feeling the earth, like feeling your hands. What does it feel like for your hands to feel the earth, to touch the earth? Whatever it is that you're doing, it's all about bringing that attention from up here, from the thoughts, from the looping thoughts into the body. And then just like slowing down. Just like try doing something else. I talked about this on an episode that I recorded recently about of Penetrate Radio, my other podcast about shadow work. I was talking with somebody about this. And something you can do is like take a cold shower. Like it's really hard to be in a thought loop when you're in a cold shower. You can like go for a run. Do something that forces you into your body, like forces you to feel your body, right? Something uncomfortable, but it will like snap you into your body. You can change your thoughts. You can change your mental state by changing your physical state, right? So if you're like the physical state and they work back and forth, they influence each other. So that's another suggestion. I really want to encourage you not to shame yourself about this. That's not helpful. It's never helpful to like berate yourself. That's just another version of the habit. So I really encourage you to just notice when you get into this, when you're in this like analysis paralysis, when you're just thinking around and around and around something. Try different things to release it, to snap yourself out of the thought loops. And you will have more peace. You will have more peace. You really have to find what works for you. So I've made some suggestions, but it's really about finding what works for you. And you can also work with Mercury and just ask Mercury to, maybe want to work with Mercury in a more like healthy way. Like, how can you bring the mercurial archetype in a way that's more digestible, that's more like balanced, that feels more grounded, sane, helpful, constructive, abundant, whatever it is that you're looking for. So you can also, I mean, if you want to do it like Mercury, you can really imagine the thoughts moving through you, like the mercurial current. The thoughts are up here, and maybe you just want to imagine them like moving through your body. Like literally, they're just coming down into your body and they're going through, and you can like visualize them going out down into the ground from your feet. So they're just like they're moving through you, and it's a current, and that way you're able to just let them come and move through and go. And in doing this visualization, you're shifting your attention, you're shifting your focus to something else other than the content of the thoughts. Then it's not about the content of the thoughts, it's about that there's just this current and it's just moving through you, and you can just let it down out your feet, and you can receive it and you can let it go, and you can receive it and you can let it go, and it can always just move through you as it does, and you don't have to get swept up in the current of it. You're still staying here and the thoughts are just moving. It's really like when we're like living in those thoughts, that's when it inhibits us from functioning. It inhibits us from feeling good. It's when that's how we use it as a distraction. That's how we avoid like digesting things in a way that we can really build and grow and change our circumstances. It's really hard to change our circumstances when we're just in a loop. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching another episode of The Seven. And I do want to tell you about my trickster course that I taught with my friend Layla Matthews, who's a brilliant Gemini, Mercurial magician. We have a course, it's a course on Mercury magic. It's available now. You can get it at any time. And there is a chat that you can join when you get the course, where you can ask me questions. Like I'll be there in the chat. So definitely check that out if you want to do more Mercury magic. And in the meantime, I will see you on the next episode. Ciao.